What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, the real Pan-African. And today we're going to talk about a Pan-African action that's happening in Africa right now between Botswana and Namibia. You know, real Pan-Africanism. I know right now you have a bunch of people on the internet that don't know anything about Pan-Africanism, that call themselves a Pan-African but are not Pan-African, right? Sullying the name or the ideology of Pan-Africanism by spreading mis and disinformation simply because, just like any other ideology, there are people who use that ideology to scam naive individuals. Okay, but here on this channel, we talk about real Pan-Africanism, not scammers who utilize ideologies to scam naive individuals. So while you have people that put Pan-Africanism as their title to get clickbait, rage bait, and to drum up attention, I'm giving you real Pan-Africanism, even though I know the videos that I put up about real Pan-Africanism doesn't get the same amount of play as the sensationalism of creating drama where there is no drama, right? Where it's just regular business as usual on planet Earth, okay? So what we have here is Namibia and Botswana, two African countries, divided by lines that white people created. White people created many lines to divide the world. They created lines between Pakistan and India, and then they made a little conflict zone called Bangladesh, where Pakistan and India fight over Bangladesh. They made lines between China and Taiwan, and lines between China, Taiwan, and what's the mainland, Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong is the friction point to where they created two governments, and now, as you can see, it is causing acrimonious altercations. It's part of the divide and conquer. You divide a people down the line so you can conquer them, right? In Africa, they created many different countries. Nigeria should be 30-something countries with 30-something different types of people, 30-something different kingdoms, right? But now it's all called Nigeria, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So all the states that you see in Nigeria should be countries and kingdoms, right? So that's why when you ask yourself, why are Nigerians dealing with tribalism, is because you have several different kingdoms, several different groups of people, several different languages told that they got to be one. That takes a while, all right? It does. If you look at Europe, you can tell even with them uniting themselves under their UNs and NATOs, they're still fighting each other as they create lines and divide themselves all the time. That's how they know to do it to the rest of the world, because they do it to themselves, right? So in Africa, all these European lines created to create these countries that never existed before Europeans made those lines. And now you have all these governments that are forced to deal with the reality on the ground, right? Well, Botswana and Namibia are changing the reality on the ground. They're getting rid of the white lines. And you know who's upset? America. You know who's upset? Europe. Because the lines that they designed, that they created to divide Africans, are collapsing. You see, we always say Africa, and we talk about it like it's one country. And people get offended, both on the continent and in the diaspora, when we explain to people Africa is multiple countries, multiple nations, multiple kingdoms. But trust and believe, the goal of Africa, the goal of the Pan-African Parliament, the goal of the African Union is to eventually make basically one giant country, a large federation of African countries that go from being called countries to states. The United States of Africa, USA. That's the next USA, United States of Africa, right? So one of the many complicated and intricate and boring steps that's necessary is to get rid of those lines that white people create. And Botswana and Namibia are currently doing that. Everywhere across Africa, the governments who first they have to fix their own house. First, they have to get rid of the corrupt politicians who still work for the NGOs of Europe, that's still getting paid and getting bribed by those NGOs in Europe. That takes a while, right? But it's happening. And now we have politicians who care more about their people now than those white dollars, because they see that it's their time and they're taking advantage of their moment. So right now in Namibia, the president of Namibia and the president of Botswana, one male, one female, right? Yin and yang, black man, black woman, united together, are uniting two peoples who were separated by white people. And there's nothing Europe can do about it. Europe's not going to be able to go in there and destabilize these governments, as these governments have now created their own equivalents of CIA and FBI who are capable of clandestine operations to keep those who mean to harm them, those corporate hitmen, those governmental hitmen out of their country and out of the influence of the people that's supposed to lead their country. Africa is not complacent anymore. Don't think that white people are the only people that can have their own CIA that can be effective, their own FBI that can be effective, their own NSA that can be effective. You see, the problem with the European is the European trained a lot of puppets. And then the Europeans trained a lot of people they thought were puppets. A lot of people who are pro-black, pan-African, and about Africa first have been trained by these Europeans in their tactics and ways. Us African people have been both the victims of their tactics, and we've also helped and partnered with them to utilize these tactics. And we've been, privy to the ways these tactics works, how they operate, the step-by-step moves that they take to make sure that we stay divided and conquered. African people learn. As you know, every place around the world where Africans are, we learn and we get better and we improve. And we multiply. We don't die like baby as kids. So without further ado, this is a long video. And I'm sorry it's not sensationalized. There's no junk here. You understand? There's no trash here. There's no false identity. There's no Hebrew Israelites here. All right? This is all African stuff. Sometimes progress can be boring. Sometimes progress is not as entertaining as drummed up manufactured drama. Sometimes progress is like C-SPAN, real news, boring and not interesting. But if you care about your people, if you care about black unity, you will see that this is something you should watch. And understand, Pan-Africanism is not here to entertain you. Now, I may be entertaining. That's because I know how to add a little entertainment into my videos in order to try to keep your attention, right? But I won't compromise real Pan-Africanism for entertainment. I won't compromise real Pan-Africanism for clickbait to get you to click the video. I'll put something here that only true, serious people who care about their people will watch. And if it's not shiny enough for you, if it's not flashing enough for you, then I guess you're not part of the solution, right? You understand what I mean? So without further ado, I'm gonna put one last thing. Understand, Pan-Africanism is an ideology. It's an action, not a group. Pan-Africanism means you're a black person and you want to work with other black people, no matter their nationality, ethnicity, or language speaking group. No matter what, they are your family. If you are anti-Pan-African, you are anti-unity. You understand? Listen to me. If you are anti-Pan-African, you are anti-unity. That makes you the enemy. All black people should be inherently Pan-African. Now, if you don't know what Pan-Africanism is, after watching this, you don't want to know. Because sometimes being unified takes work. Being unified is not easy. Being unified is having empathy for your black brothers and sisters the same way we got empathy for all these white people that mean to do us harm continuously, while we forgive them over and over again every single day, and disregard the things that they do to us while trying to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a standard that we don't hold anybody else. If you are black, Pan-Africanism should be the default ideology in your head. Your brother to your left or your right, that's your brother. Don't matter what language they speak. It don't matter what flag they fly. Pan-Africanism requires you to take your ego away. Pan-Africanism requires you to take your group ego away. They recognize you can celebrate a Jamaican, a Nigerian, a South African, an Ethiopian, and an African American the same way. And their first identifier, which is their nationality, does not take away from the accomplishments and the praise that you can give another black person. That's Pan-Africanism. So anyway, without further ado, it's going to be a long video. Watch as much as you want. Come back. If it's too long for you, it's whatever. Pan-Africanism is long-winded. It's not short-winded. This is a long-term thing, not a short-term thing. All right? So tell me what you guys think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, of course, having in mind Madam Lucia Vedboy, our Vice President, distinguished delegates, we are very close to the end of the Heads of States BNC Summit. We are back in the hall for the closing ceremony, and I can see the media are here to capture the moment. The first item during this session is to sign, or the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the two countries, Namibia and Botswana. And without further ado, Your Excellencies, there are 8 Memorandum of Understanding to be signed by the ministers as designate. And I know the practice in the past has been to invite head of states to witness the signature. The power vested in me as a master of ceremony, we will avoid that. We will allow the head of states to remain in their seats. They are in the room, we are all in the room, so therefore we are witnessing the signing of those agreements as they are. May I proceed to invite the ministers responsible to sign those Memorandum of Understanding. The first one is the Memorandum of Understanding on cooperation in the field of energy or energy resource, to be signed on the side of Namibia. Honorable Natangwa Ithete, a Deputy Prime Minister and a Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, while on the side of Botswana, Honorable Bogolo Kenewendo, Minister of Minerals and Energy. May we please move forward to the table? And I request those who have Thank you. The second is a Memorandum of Agreement on the gainful employment of spouses and dependents of diplomatic and consular staff, to be signed on the side of Namibia. Honorable Ambassador Serema Ashpala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade. On Botswana, Honorable Dr. Penyo Butale, Minister of International Relations. May you please move forward? Thank you. Thank you. The third is a memorandum of understanding on cultural cooperation to be signed on behalf of Namibia, again by Honorable Ambassador Selma Ashpara-Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, while on Botswana, Honorable Dr. Penyo Butale, the Minister responsible for international relations. Next, or the fourth, a memorandum of understanding on cooperation on field of science, technology, and innovation to be signed once again by Honorable Ambassador Selma Ashpara-Musavi, the Minister of International Relations and Trade, and on the side of Botswana, Honorable David Sere, the Minister of Communication and Innovation. Thank you. The next and fifth memorandum of understanding on correctional in the field, on cooperation in the field of corrections and prison to be signed on the side of Namibia, Honorable Lucia Ipumbu, Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, and on the side of Botswana, Honorable Maotwana Nelson Maotwana, Minister of Justice, and La Maotwana, Minister of Justice and Correctional Service. Sorry, wives, if I did not pronounce your name properly. Thank you. The next memorandum of understanding on police cooperation to be signed, once again on behalf of Namibia, by Honorable Lucia Ipumbu, Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security. On behalf of Botswana, Honorable Moeti Caesar Muhasa, Minister of State President. Thank you. The next, number 7, a memorandum of understanding on health cooperation on the side of Namibia to be signed by Honorable Esperance Ruvindao, Minister of Health and Social Service. On Botswana, Honorable Dr. Peño Butale, Minister of International Relations. Thank you. The next memorandum of understanding on cooperation in the field of employment and labor to be signed on the side of Namibia, Honorable Philemon Wise Emmanuel, Minister of Justice and Labor Relations, while on Botswana, Honorable Major General Pius Bukukhale, Minister of Justice, Labor and Relations. Erra. Possiamo. Thank you, Your Excellency. That concludes the signing of the 8th Memorandum of Understanding. And now I have the honor to invite the Honorable Minister of International Relations and Trade of Namibia and the Honorable Minister of International Relations of Botswana to sign the agreed minutes. Thank you, Honorable Ministers. That concludes the first part of the crossing. Conclude the first part of the crossing session. Media, please, may you do me a favor to take up your right position as we conclude so that the distinguished guests also be part of the crossing. Thank you so much for your cooperation. I would like to inform the House that the communique will not be read, instead it will be distributed. The communique, in the interest of time, will not be presented here. However, it will be distributed, I believe, as we exit this hall. You will have access to the document, or otherwise you will be informed how to access it. We are very close to the end of the very important Heads of State Summit on BNC. And on that note, I have the honor and privilege once again to invite Your Excellency Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana and co-chair of the BNC, to deliver his closing remarks. Your Excellency.
Once again, please resume your seats, and my apologies. Let me assure you that I have been informed that the President of the Republic of Namibia has kindly invited us to lunch as soon as we are done here, so I will not stand too long between you and your lunch. It remains for me then to once again thank the President, the entire team and leadership of the Republic of Namibia for the hospitality that they have accorded us, the open and frank engagements we've had. We will carry very fond memories of this bi-national commission meeting. When I spoke to you earlier, I indicated that we are prosecuting a revolution. And a revolution is an episode of convulsive political transformation, compressed in time and determinate in outcome. We met today. We mapped out our desired goals and outcomes. We crafted strategies for the realization of these goals. Words have been spoken, plans drawn, examples enacted. The time now is for the translation of those words into action. Because I recall a conversation between two Shakespearean characters in Shakespeare's King Henry IV. The one says to the other, you know, I can do things. I can call spirits from the vast deep. The other one says, yes, so can I, and so can anybody else. But will they come when you do call for them? That's the brutally devastating question that faces us today. We've spoken, we've drawn plans, we've laid out outlines towards certain goals, summoning outcomes, calling from the vast deep. Critical question, will they come when we do call for them? That is the question we all must answer in the unfolding future. And now we begin the march, forward strides. Our gaze fixed firmly on a future we are willing to embrace and to confront. And so now, on this occasion, I will not stop talking. I will simply pause so that we continue the march. Thank you so very much for the privilege of your company here today and the pleasure of your kind attention. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And now I have the honor and privilege to invite Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia and Chair of the BNC, to deliver her concluding remarks, and I believe formally close the session or second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission. Your Excellency.
Please be seated. Thank you, Director of Ceremonies, Advocate Bok, the co-chair of this Bi-National Commission and President of the Republic of Botswana, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, and all of us present here. We are now approaching the conclusion of the second Botswana-Namibia Bi-National Commission. We have had thorough discussions on matters which were before us. We are here delegated by our citizens, and this is now the time for us, that is, we go back to our respective offices, we have to count for what they have sent us here for. This gathering definitely has been very extraordinary, serving as a key moment in strengthening the ties between our two countries. It is inspiring to reflect on how our discussions have went, and definitely they will improve on our bilateral relations, and it will definitely open new opportunities for our cooperation. The 5 days we have been here, I can see they've been very productive, from the sessions of our senior officials and experts to the meeting of the ministers and our meeting today. The comprehensive report that was presented to us by our ministers was very vital, as it represents as a roadmap by outlining where we should go in our bilateral cooperation. It highlighted the achievements and the areas where we need improvement. And I sincerely want to thank our ministers and our senior officials or civil servants for their hard work and dedication. We acknowledge our accomplishment, but we know we are facing challenges, and we must make sure that we implement what we have agreed here. The 8th Memorandum of Understanding we have signed during this session represents a significant deepening of our partnership and clear expression of our collective, and we are expected to implement them in order to make sure that our cooperation makes or adds value to what we want to do for our people. These cooperations range from energy, resources. We talk about employment creation. It's about science and technology. It's about innovation. It's very holistic. We are talking of everything that we need in order to serve our people better. I must specifically say I'm encouraged by our discussions on our natural resources beneficiation, because for too long, Africa has been allowing her natural resources to leave the continent unprocessed. By implication, exporting labor of our young people to other continents. We have agreed to work together in order to ensure that our natural resources remains in our continent for the benefit of our people. The documents we have agreed, we have set timelines. And for our ministers, these timelines, you proposed them, we endorsed them. The fact that you propose them is because you know you are able to work within those time frames, and there should be no excuse. As heads of state, we will play our part, and our part is to give you political support. You have it. You have our political support. If there's anything that's getting into your way, come to us. So we want you to be on top of everything and to ensure that these agreements we have signed are implemented. That's the only way we can account for the resources the people of the two countries have spent on us. We are here, we came here, we traveled on airplanes, we are sleeping in hotels, we are working in air-conditioned rooms like these ones, but this is not our money, it's taxpayers' money. And that's why we must deliver as they expect. Mr. President, as I conclude, with all expectation and belief that our ministers, our civil servants are not going to let us down. They will perform, they will deliver, and next time when we meet, we will only acknowledge the good work which is done. I really want to thank you once again for accepting our invitation and for your leadership, your friendship, and commitment for our two countries to work together in order to bring about shared prosperities to our two nations. I have to thank you for having accepted last night to participate and to view with me a documentary film that is based on my life. But as we have all seen, it represents the whole of Namibia, the aspiration of the Namibian people, and exactly as you mentioned at the beginning, that there is high expectation from our citizens from this administration. It was obvious last night on the film. People in the rural Namibia, the way they were talking. So therefore, we have a task to perform. We must continue to work together and let this binational commission be a platform, not just for planning, but a platform for execution. As I look forward to the third session of our binational commission, which will be hosted in the Republic of Botswana in 2027, I reaffirm Namibia's commitment to ensure that the set objectives are achieved. Together, let us light the way towards a prosperous future for our nations, characterized by shared success and lasting friendship. As you have rightly said, Mr. President, and all delegates, to celebrate the success of our meeting and express our appreciation for your visit, it's my great pleasure to invite you, dear brother, and your delegation to a luncheon hosted in your honor. With this, thanking each and every one of you, it's now my privilege to declare the second session of the Binational Commission between Botswana and Namibia officially closed. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let me give myself this privilege, first of all, to thank Your Excellency, President of our Republic, for giving me this honor and privilege to direct the proceedings of this very, very important second session of Namibia, Botswana by National Commission. Thank you, Comrade President. Unless I'm informed otherwise, on that note, we have really come to the end of this program. I therefore wish to say once again, as His Excellency, President of Botswana and the delegation depart, we wish you a safe flight back home. We have a lunch, as it has been announced. Therefore, on that note, may I, yes, I do. On that note, may I now, of course, we are all standing, invite NDF for the anthems. Thank you, NDF. May I request that we remain standing to allow our head of states and governments to exit the hall first. And again, the lunch is served at the fountain area just opposite the hall. As we exit,
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.